Hello, it's Martin in a Hyundai IONIQ 5 and you probably clicked on this video because the car you have has suddenly disappeared from your Hyundai or Kia mobile app. I have to be honest, there can be multiple reasons why this can happen, but as these cars are aging, the connectivity contracts are expiring on them. I will not even try to cover all of the options in this video because it's very complicated and it varies product from product depending on when it was manufactured and which region it was sold. Long story short, early IONIQ 5s in the UK would get 3 years of connectivity, whereas counterintuitively some previous Hyundai products like the OG IONIQ or the Kona EV would get 5. To keep it simple and to make sure that you can look up the correct information for your vehicle, I will just leave a link to the relevant Hyundai website in the video description. Truth to be told, as the connectivity contract is about to expire, you should get multiple notifications in your emails and through the BlueLink app as well, but in case you missed those, the clear sign that the connectivity is no longer warning is in the vehicle infotainment itself. So I've just started up the car and after selecting my user profile, this is the screen I was presented with. If you need to start driving immediately, you can always just press later, but that splash screen will appear after every vehicle startup. If it's bothering you and you don't care for any of these online features, you can disable it by going into BlueLink, then BlueLink settings, and at the bottom left corner you've got BlueLink activation help and you just need to uncheck that box. Speaking of which, what if you do want the online features? These cars feel quite incomplete without the online connectivity, and let me show you what you miss out on. Other than obviously the app connectivity where you can remotely lock, unlock, precondition the vehicle, there are some features inside of the infotainment system which are missing as well. Most notably, if I go into the built-in navigation system and search for a destination, such as a local charger I like to use for topping up the car, you see I get yet another pop-up saying that functionality is limited due to the absence of internet connectivity, and you can still continue using the built-in navigation without having to pay a fee, but as it zoomed out, you will have noticed that it now no longer displays live traffic information. Secondly, very important for an electric car, the points of interest are not kept up to date, so you may not have the latest information on where some of the chargers are and whether they are operational. And even more importantly, especially if you are new to EVs, if we look into the route details, you can see that the arrival time is depicted, but there is no estimate of the state of charge in the battery at destination. Likewise, if I decide to go on a very long road trip, and for the purposes of the demonstration, let's choose the usual destination, which is Edinburgh. The car has a rough idea of how much range it has, but it will not be able to plan the route properly. If I click search stations now, it will display charging stations along the route, but there is absolutely no smart logic to it whatsoever. You see that it displays the stations a few streets away, which are all very slow AC chargers between 5 and 7 kilowatts for local residents to use. Whereas given I am at 74% state of charge, I would expect the recommendation of a rapid chargers a few hours into the journey. Once again, if I go into the route overview, the car has no idea that it will need multiple charging stops to get me to where I want to go. So now, given you have heard the case for all of these features, let's actually get on with activating them. I will cancel the guidance for now. You would think this would be a straightforward process, but it's not. In fact, you can get out of the vehicle because the car tells you to subscribe to a connectivity plan using the app, but of course that's impossible because there is no car in said app. Hence, I'm afraid the next step is to call Hyundai customer services. Even if you had the car in your account in the app previously, sometimes Hyundai will ask for proof of ownership in the form of a V5 or a purchase invoice. So, if you only got the car recently, it means if the paperwork hasn't come through in the post yet, sometimes you may not be able to get the full connectivity from day one. And that's because essentially behind the scenes, Hyundai just activates a connectivity trial to get the car talking to the internet again. Before you jump back into the car, it's important to have the My Hyundai app on your phone, which effectively replaces the older BlueLink app. And now I should just go through the setup process again using that aforementioned new app. So I go into My Hyundai, I log in with the same credentials as before, and all I need to do is click Add Vehicle. the QR code scanner pops up, so we go back into the BlueLink menu in the infotainment system, BlueLink settings, modem information, and it is important to scan the QR code instead of typing in the VIN manually. So I will do that just now. Perfect. And we can continue through the setup process. We need to click Activate BlueLink. And this is the point at which you are taken into the BlueLink store, and it's here where you can choose the tier of subscription you want and how it's going to be billed. So for the purposes of this video, to be able to show you all the features, I will go for the higher Pro, but I want to be billed monthly. The checkout is pretty self-explanatory. You just have to agree to all the terms and conditions and put your payment details in. Now with the car in the app, I just need to activate BlueLink for the connected car services. So once again, agree to the terms of use. I automatically, without doing anything, got a notification in the infotainment system whether I want a new code. So I will click yes. And I just need to copy this authentication code from the infotainment onto my phone. And that's it. I can just press OK on the vehicle end, and I've got the controls I would expect right on the phone. While I have the phone out, let me actually give you a quick tour of the new app, because it has been redesigned and it's much clearer than it used to be before. First, on the Home tab, you can see the vehicle with the current state of charge, current mileage, and you have some quick access shortcuts in there as well. You can customize these by clicking the settings button for either your home screen and also for the widget. So on iOS, if you want to place your widget onto your home screen or into the widgets pane, you can add that here. And if you just type in the Hyundai app, there are two sizes available. I will just add the smaller one. And if I click done, you can see the same shortcuts are available right there. So if I want to, for example, just activate the preconditioning, it's a single tap away. Going back to the app, as mentioned, if I care for anything else, I can just move that into here. I click save, and now in the home screen, that widget has updated accordingly. You can also send destinations to your vehicle right from here. Under the shop tab, you can see what level of subscription you are on. And lastly, into the control tab, this is where you can control some of the vehicle features remotely. In the first tab, you can remotely lock, unlock, precondition the vehicle, or beep the horn. If you scroll down, this is where you can also adjust the temperature and decide whether you want to defrost the windscreen, the rear window, or turn on the steering wheel heating in winter as well. I will close out of that. For now, you can also see additional details about the vehicle climate system or the vehicle in general, whether you forgot to close any of the doors, windows, etc. The more important bit for most EV drivers is the EV section, and this shows you information about the battery in more detail. You can also set charging limits for both DC and AC through here, etc. Likewise, you've got controls specifically for the EV functions, so for opening or closing the charge port and for starting and stopping the actual charging process. Not much else under services. And lastly, in the My tab, that's where you can manage your account and what vehicles you have in here. You can also see your trips history. So for example, if I go into more details, I can see how much driving I've done this month. I had a pretty busy couple of days, so make sure to subscribe to the channel if you don't want to miss out on my massive cross-European road trip in the IONIQ 5. And other than the driving, you can also see energy consumption information here, which is very similar to what the vehicle shows inside of the infotainment system. Speaking of the infotainment system, that's what the video was initially about, so let's get back to that. In the built-in navigation system, if I want to go somewhere near, I can see that the car automatically calculates the state of charge on arrival. And if I go into the route summary, you can see that the computer thinks I will get to wisely with 32% left. Likewise, I can see live status of all the chargers nearby. So for example, if I click at this one, which is a charge point unit, that is showing as out of order. If I look at any other example, any of the green ones, that's a lamppost charger, and it is showing as currently available. And lastly, important for electric cars, if I choose a destination very far away, like for example Edinburgh, I just need to make sure that the include charging stations tick box is enabled, and the car will take a moment to figure out where I need to stop and how long for. The route planner is not the best. It suggests to arrive with quite a high state of charge, but at least now if I go into the overview, I can see that there are going to be multiple charging stops and I will eventually reach Edinburgh with 30% in the battery. And thanks to the fast charging of the IONIQ 5, even with less than optimal planning, the charging times are very short. Also, if I zoom in, you can now see that the line showing the route I need to take is green, and that means that the traffic is flowing freely there. Likewise, we can see how the traffic looks in all the other areas depicted by the different colors, and if we try to zoom in a bit closer, it seems like on this Sunday evening, London is doing quite well. The good news is that all of these online packages are relatively reasonably priced. The Plus tier, which applies to both the newer and older models, is only £2.99 a month. And having said that, this whole chaos of functionality missing should be much less of an issue on the post-2024 cars, as those come with the Lite package included for 10 years from the moment of registration, and that includes the essential EV features, and you only have to upgrade to the Plus if you want some of the additional remote connectivity features. And I think that's about it. I hope I answered all the questions you had. If you found the video informative, make sure to hit the like button. It's always appreciated. If someone else is having trouble with these features, the infotainment, the app setup, etc., feel free to forward them the video. And yeah, thanks again for watching. Subscribe if you want to see more EV content, and I will see you in the next one.